Amidst the torrential rain on the highway, a wild monkey was struck by a car and left gravely injured. No one stopped except Clara, a young woman working in animal rescue. She saved the monkey's life, named him Raka, and released him back into the forest once he had recovered. 2 years later, during an outdoor nature class for children, a little boy went missing and fell into a dangerous swamp. Just when all hope seemed lost, a familiar shadow darted through the trees. Raka had returned. But how could a monkey remember gratitude? And how did he know how to save a human life? This is a story about compassion, the intelligence of nature, and a friendship that needed no words. Before we begin, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss any new stories. The afternoon rain poured down on the edge of the Amazon like thick curtains, lashing at every tree canopy, every patch of slippery red earth. The highway that cut through this forested region was a hot spot for collisions between humans and wildlife. Today was no exception. A truck had just rounded a bend when bang! A sharp, jarring sound echoed, startling the driver into slamming the brakes. On the rain-soaked road, a monkey tumbled, rolled several times, and lay still, its tiny legs curled up, chest heaving with difficulty. Most vehicles sped past as if nothing had happened. But inside a white SUV parked nearby, a young woman in a yellow raincoat was watching. Her name was Clara, 27 years old, a part-time animal rescuer who had spent her youth healing lives broken by human hands. Clara switched on her hazard lights and dashed out into the rain. Her heart clenched as she saw the small creature curled up in the middle of the road. She gently picked up the monkey, feeling its faint heartbeat and the pungent smell of blood. "Hang in there. You're going to be okay," she whispered. The local wildlife rescue center was a modest building on the edge of the semi-forest, where Clara had lived and worked for the past 3 years. She laid the monkey on the exam table and urgently called the vet. After x-rays, the diagnosis came in: a broken right leg, a dislocated shoulder, multiple lacerations. Clara didn't hesitate. She dressed the wounds herself, tending every bandage and every vial of medicine with care. In the early days, the monkey wouldn't let anyone near. It growled, hissed, terrified, and in pain. But Clara was patient. She named him Raka, a word from the local indigenous dialect meaning wild flame. "You're my little warrior," she often said as she spoon-fed him. Raka slowly grew accustomed to Clara's presence. On quiet evenings, when soft music played, he would curl up in his nest, his brown eyes half closed as if dreaming of the forest he'd lost. Every day, Clara sat by his side, telling him stories of animals she had rescued, soothing the loneliness in his small, wild heart. 3 months passed, and Raka made a miraculous recovery. His fur was sleek, and his first leaps onto the artificial branches in the rehab zone drew cheers from the entire center. But the time came for goodbye. Clara knew Raka didn't belong in cages or under tin roofs. She completed the paperwork to release him into a protected rainforest reserve. That day, she drove to the forest's edge, set the carrier down, and opened the door. Raka stepped out, turned to look at her, his gaze sorrowful, yet peaceful. "Go, Raka," Clara whispered. "You're free now." Raka moved closer, gently touched Clara's cheek with his hand, a gesture not of instinct, but almost human. She bit her lip to stop the tears, and then, in a flash, he leapt into the trees and vanished into the leaves. 2 years passed swiftly. Clara still worked at the rescue center, now better known to the public. One blazing hot June day, she led a group of local children on an outdoor nature education trip. The kids excitedly chased butterflies with nets and peered at insects through magnifying glasses. Among them was Lucas, a mischievous 6-year-old boy with boundless curiosity. While the instructors were busy telling forest stories, Lucas quietly slipped away, chasing a squirrel into the underbrush. Clara noticed he was missing just 10 minutes later. The group split up to search immediately. The sky began to darken, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Lucas, meanwhile, had wandered deep into a dangerous area, a swamp zone left behind by past floods. He stepped wrong and, splash, his small body began sinking into the watery mud. He screamed in panic, but no one could hear. Just then, a dark blur shot through the treetops. Raka, He was larger now, strong and muscular, but his eyes still carried the same old light. Hearing the faint cries, he spotted the boy flailing in the swamp. Without hesitation, he darted toward the rescue team's location. Perched on a branch nearby, Raka let out sharp, repeated cries, calling for attention. Clara froze, her heart pounded. She knew that sound. "Raka!" she shouted. The monkey called back, then sped off, glancing behind him as if beckoning them to follow. Raka led like a seasoned scout. Clara and two other rescuers followed him through the forest, arriving at the swamp's edge. Lucas was nearly submerged, only his upper body visible, his red eyes wide, arms flailing. Clara tied a rope around her waist and stepped into the muck, pulling him out. Just as her strength began to fail, Raka suddenly jumped down, grabbed a long branch, and handed it toward Clara as if he understood exactly what she needed. With that incredible cooperation between human and monkey, Lucas was pulled to safety. As the boy sobbed in her arms, Clara turned to Raka, still standing there, his calm eyes watching like he'd never left. "You were always here, weren't you?" she whispered. After that day, Raka never returned to the center, but staff would occasionally catch glimpses of him high in the treetops. Local news dubbed him the guardian of the forest, and children drew pictures of the hero monkey with a red scarf, the one Clara had given him on their last day together. Clara placed a small sign at the base of a tree near the center, Raka Tree, where an eternal friendship began. Friendship doesn't require the same species, just hearts that beat in harmony.